Greetings and salutations, good citizens. This is Laz. This is not the fortress anymore. See, as I was thinking about it, I'm going to be shifting away, at least with this channel, I'm shifting away from the CW reviews or really any superhero news or reviews. I might do it here and there, but seeing as how my audience really seems to enjoy my horror related stuff, and especially when I do horror reviews, at least post about Monster Mania when I go to that, horror conventions, when I do figure reviews, like horror figure reviews, like the NECA stuff. I figured I'm going to switch to horror, so the name of this channel is going to change to the Fright Club. And there are some rules to the Fright Club. Rule number 1: tell everybody about Fright Club. Spread the word as far as you can. Bring everyone in. The more, the merrier. Yeah, bring as many people as you know to come on in and listen to my dulcet tones. And now, that's the only rule. Rule number 2, though, honestly, is the same rule I had for the Fortress, which is no politics. In the comments, be nice. Don't be dicks. Or else I'm going to have to go roadhouse on you and say, I'm going to be nice until it's time not to be nice. Don't make me Swayze your asses. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so with that out of the way, I also want to say, like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification thingamabobber. I couldn't tell you where it is because I'm old. I don't know where the hell that thingy is. But hit the bell so you never miss an exciting episode of the Fright Club. Now, all that goodness out of the way. What I'm going to talk about today is my experience with the Halloween franchise. This might be a bit longer of a video. For that, I apologize. But I do know what's going to happen is I'm going to go through not every movie in detail or anything like that. Just talk about, when I saw them, how I saw them, whatever, and actually in what order I saw them to the best of my recollection. I'll give brief opinions or, brief, yay or nay with them. But I'm also going to take a good chunk of time with Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, because that's a sentimental favorite of mine, and I want to defend it. So, let's get right down to it. Now, the first Halloween movie I ever saw, I'm sure everyone was like, well, it'd be part 1, right? Nay. First one I ever saw was part 2. I saw it on basic cable, on Channel 17 in Philly, and me and my dad were watching it. Now, again, when it comes to the horror trinity from the 80s, from Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Michael Myers, Freddy's the one that scared me the most. Can't tell you why. I can tell you why. It's just because for some reason, as a kid, I bought into mythology, and he just terrified me. Mainly because not only did he kill you, he made fun of you first, and that's just that sucks. Jason really. All right, he got a phone in the middle of that. All right. Okay. Jason never really scared me just because he's clearly a big lumbering dude with a hockey mask, but I'm never going to go in the woods. Didn't go camping. Didn't really care. And this is my first experience with Michael Myers. I don't honestly, I remember being scared during it, but I don't remember being hiding behind my dad scared, I don't know the exact age. I know I was way too young to be seeing Halloween. And I remember this is me as a kid, not to the kids today where they see anything they want, whatever. It's not a judgment, parents. I'm just saying I've seen kids see stuff, but I'm like, that would terrify me when I was your age. But I remember having a good time with it as a kid. Like the sequence where Myers just walks just through a plate glass door like it was nothing. He was like, whatever. That I was like, oh, wow. I like that. He kind of reminded me of the Terminator, mainly because Dick Warlock, who was an awesome dude when I met him at Monster Mania, so I'm not trying to crap on him, but his Myers to me is a little too robotic. He moves like a Terminator. So I'm not really. And I don't mean Arnold walk around going, you die, I'm going to kill you. I mean the stop motion Terminator. I just can't explain. As I watch it now, I'm not a giant fan. But 2 is the first one I saw. Really enjoyed it. I still enjoy it today. And it has the one. There's one scene out of all of them I cannot look at anymore. It's when the kid and his mom go to the hospital because the kid has a razor blade stuck to the top of his mouth, and at one like he's holding a rag to it, and it's all covered in blood, whatever. I'm fine with that until he drops the rag and he looks up and you see the razor sticking out of his mouth. Ugh. That's the one thing about horror movies, like decapitation, getting impaled, whatever. Fine, but when it's stuff I can feel, like in Evil Dead, when Linda gets the pencil, when Shelly shoves the pencil into Linda's ankle. Ow! Like I'm like, like anything like broken bones, like that I can feel. That I have a pretty good indication of what that feels like. So I'm like, I don't want to see this no more. And I've seen it enough. So I'm like, you know what? Take a break with that. But I did enjoy it. And I believe the next one I saw was part 4. Which, as a teenager, I dug the crap out of part 4. I thought it was awesome. I would say, I know more people like, oh, this is where a lot of people like, I've heard a few people saying, this is where my crush on Danielle Harris started. Because I was the same age as her character, blah, blah, blah. Not for me. My crush started on her Last Boy Scout. For the same reason. We were the same age. I was the same age as her character in that movie. Oh, and she was a smart ass, and I thought that was awesome. But she's amazing in that movie. The chick who plays Tina Carruthers, and I can't believe I'm blanking on her name. I know, not Tina Carruthers. Wow, I went somewhere else. Chick who plays Rachel. That's one thing about having so much horror knowledge in your head. Every once in a while, crap just goes. Rachel Carruthers. Tina's the chick from part 5. But Rachel, I loved her. I thought she was awesome. All in all, a really fun movie. To this day, my favorite sequence is still Michael Myers has a shotgun. Ain't normal human being. All right, I want to kill someone with a shotgun. Boom. Myers, no. Myers, like, I'm going to take the shotgun, shove it through your stomach, through your back, and pin you to a wall, chick. And I was just like, all right. And I loved it. Although, my favorite line in that movie, and this is a line my roommate and I still will just randomly say, we'll look at each other and go, it's after Myers kills the entire police force. And then there's a lynch mob outside the police force, and Sheriff Meeker is like, go home, Earl, go home, you don't want to do this. And Loomis goes, no, it's Michael Myers. He went that way, whatever. And Meeker gets pissed. He goes, you just cleared a lynch mob. And Loomis's reaction of, you no longer have a police force. We'll quote that constantly. We'll just randomly say it. Like in part 2. Like, especially the trailer for part 2. Where you hear the 7 gunshots out of a 6-shooter because it's magic. And Loomis is like, I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. He's not human. We'll do that. We'll just say it randomly. We'll just walk around. I'll just walk around. I'll go, I shot him 6 times, my roommate. I shot him in the heart. Well, do dealing Loomis's. It's fun. So 4 is the next one I saw. And then I saw 5. But not all of it. Because, kiddies, I taped 4 and 5 off of Prism. Now, for those of us who have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, Prism, back in the 80s, early 90s, was a cable channel on Store Cable, which would become Comcast. It was a local Philly station, I believe. But so I taped 4. Yeah. Oh, by the way, I taped VHS tapes, or these things about the yay big. You put them in this machine called the VCR. Now you could program the VCR to tape programs. I know some people are like, wow, you're a condescending douche. I know, thank you, but I've had people go, I've had kids go, what's a VHS? And after I was on slapping them, I explained it to them. So I figured I was going to cut to the chase since I can't smack you virtually. Love that, have that ability. But so I taped 4 and I taped 5. But 5, I never saw the ending. I didn't see the ending of 5 from that point in time. Like it stops after Loomis takes out Myers by dropping a net on him and then beating him with a board with a nail in it. Basically, that's where my tape stopped. I just remember part 5 pissing me off because part 4 for me has the best ending out of the entire franchise. Just Yay, we're good, we're done, we stopped Michael Myers, hooray! And then you get the POV shot of someone walking around, put the clown mask on, they grab a pair of scissors, see a pair of scissors, stab the mom, and then you hear the screaming. Loomis comes running up the staircase, and he stops and he sees Jamie in Myers' basically the clown costume, the mask, holding a pair of scissors, just drenched in her mom's blood, or adoptive mom's blood, I mean, or maybe it's her aunt blood. I'm sorry, to me that she's an adoptive parent. I believe that's their adoptive parent. That she's just standing there. So Loomis is having flashbacks to Michael, and he draws a gun on a 10-year-old child. He's all like, no! And Meeker has to go, don't shoot a child. To me, best ending ever. And I was like, oh, what are they going to do in the next one? Is she going to be like a killer or like Myers' sidekick? That would be awesome. And by the way, when I saw this, there was no internet. And the only thing I knew about the movies was my mom telling me they're stupid and just the covers. So, and then I saw part 5 and I'm like, what? She's a mute? And then a child, like not an asylum, but almost a mental hospital kind of sort of. I'm like, what? Why didn't you do that? That would have been awesome. What? Anywho, and then Michael's running around with a mask that somehow looks worse than part 4, because I thought part 4's mask didn't look good, even as a kid. But part 5, he has like the neck sticking out here like this. But I will say though, part 4 and part 6 coming up have my favorite Michael Myers. I know everyone will say Nick Castle for part 1, but I don't count Nick Castle on my list of best Michaels, only because he started it. So I really can't count him because it's not fair to me. Like, he's above everybody else so much that, to me. So I'm going to say my favorite Myers throughout the sequels is played by George Wilbur, who did him in part 4. I think parts of part 5. No, part 5 is somebody else, but he was in part 6 for most of it. He's my favorite one. I don't know why. He was bulky and he looked scarier. Like, he looked meaner. Part 5, I didn't like as a kid. Didn't like it in a few viewings. I'm starting to like it more now. I still think they made a giant mistake. I think they hired the wrong director. But watching Danielle Harris, who I think is still a kid in that movie. I can't remember how old she was. I'm not going to IMDb that. That's creepy. But to me, it's just she's a youngin' and she's mute and she has to act like she's mute and crying and doing all this emotional stuff with her face and magnificent. And actually, I like Tina. I know the entire horror community went, oh, what the hell's wrong with you? I do. Yeah, I know she's not Rachel, and Rachel was awesome and should not have died. I agree with that. I absolutely do. But I liked her. I thought it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt that she's hot. I mean, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I just kind of liked her character. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of parts wrong with 5, like the bumbling cops, the introduction of the Man in Black, which I love after reading some like not tell books, but like like history of Halloween books. Like if you ever get a chance, look up Taking Shape on Kindle, at least on Amazon. Oh my God, he has 2 volumes. One is the history of the franchise up to 2018. Second volume is all of the unmade sequel ideas. Both really amazing, but according to his book, they introduced the Man in Black, and we're like, let people who make part 6 figure out who the hell this is. We're just gonna do it, which I thought was hilarious and actually telling. Now we're gonna get to part 6. Here goes my defense. Now I'm gonna start my defense in the weirdest way possible. I know it's a bad movie. I'm aware of that. However, again, it's a sentimental favorite for me because it's the first Halloween I saw in theaters. And so, whilst I know the story is flawed, I get that. The Curse of Thorn is kind of silly, but not silly enough because I got it on my body. But for me, so again, George Wilbur is Myers, and again, he's just creepy in this one. Like, he's scary. Like the opening sequence where after Jamie gives birth and the nurse helps her out, and then they're like, "Oh God, it's Myers here." She goes, "Daniel, yeah, Jamie, run!" And Jamie with the baby, and then the nurse is just backing up, and they do the freaking shot where you start seeing him out of the shadows, and he kind of merges, and he just grabs her and very calmly looks up, and she happens to see a coat rack sticking out. I think it's a coat rack sticking out of a wall for some reason. He just funk and does the. But the entire sequence where he's stalking her, amazing. As a matter of fact, the entire opening, I'll say 10 minutes, where he kills the nurse, then the trucker, then Jamie. But that entire sequence is really well done. And I know everyone's going to say, "Oh, I mean, yeah, I know this movie. They replaced Danielle Harris with an actress named J.C. Brandy." And I remember when I saw it in theaters, I was like, "What is Danielle Harris doing something?" Because I didn't know any of the backstage hoop did you. I don't think anyone else did really, unless you read like horror magazine. Maybe they had something about it. I didn't. I had no idea. And but thinking about it now, I'm kind of glad they changed it, because in my head canon, it's some other chick named Jamie, and not the Jamie Lloyd I knew. But also because the whole idea of being pregnant and the way she goes down, I don't know. I think as a teenager, and it would have been a little, not distressing, but a little concerning. I'll put it that way. I mean, going, "Oh, she went down like a sucker," and it was Danielle Harris. No, that's not good. As opposed to, I'm like, again, it's not like I don't care if it's a new chick, but it's just I have no emotional investment in this woman, and she does I think she does a really good job for what she has. And the way Myers kills her is he puts her on like a thresher thing. He basically kills her like Dolph Lundgren dies in Universal Soldier. Only he's meaner about it. Like he puts her in this thing, and she stabs her through. She's like, "Oh my God!" She does the whole arm hand thing, and then Myers just, and then he turns it on. I'm like, "Damn, you're a douche." But and I love that sequence. Like I love the movie. I do. Even the bits that don't work. Even Paul Rudd, who has no idea what the hell he's doing in this movie, which is not a shot at Paul Rudd, by the way, because I think it's his first movie. But he just seems so lost. But also he's part of one of my favorite scenes of the movie, where he's trying to free Kara Strode from this locked door in Smith and Wesson, at the Smith's Grove. He's like, he has like a fire extinguisher heating the lock. Then he looks up, and there's Myers standing there, and look at his face is like, it's amazing. I love that stuff. And like a lot of good stuff. The ending sucks. Like the ending of, I'm gonna beat Myers by injecting a bunch of ecto cooler into him, and then I'm gonna beat him with a pipe, and he's gonna bleed green. And then we're gonna leave. Then Lewis goes back, and then you see Myers' mask kind of like ripped, like the remnants of it, and then you hear Loomis screaming. And so like the ending sucks. I have no defense for that. But for me, the movie itself is a fun slasher movie, and it's not boring. Unlike the much ballyhoo producer's cut. I heard more than one person, "Oh my God, it's so much better." No, it's not. It's really not. Like, it may explain a few things better. It might. But the producer's cut really intimates that the baby Jamie's carrying is Michael's baby. And I think no one told him. I guess they forgot. They're related. Ew. And also, Myers having sex. That doesn't work either. Whereas in the theatrical cut, they basically intimate that it's a test tube baby. Which for me is a lot easier to handle than Myers is, brown chicken, brown cow with Jamie. And it's just, it goes on forever. The producer's cut. I'm just like, it just goes on and on and on, much like this video. And plus, the theatrical cut has Daddy Strode, douchebag Daddy Strode. He gets electrocuted and his head explodes, which I'm pretty sure it causes, like it did when I saw this movie, it caused those of us in the audience to erupt into applause, because He was a big bag of dick waffles, I'll tell you. Um, so, we were like, yeah, boom. So you got that. I'd much rather have a douchebag get electrocuted and his head explode, as opposed to get electrocuted and meh, and it'd be a wet fart in church. Explosions, head exploding better. I don't care if it's not realistic. Who cares? And plus, the mask in Part 6 was my favorite mask for a long time. Then 2018 happened. Now they're tied. But the mask in Part 6 is amazing. So that's my defense of Curse Michael Myers. May not be a great defense, but that's about where I'm at. Then I saw Part 1 finally. And actually bought it from Blockbuster, of all things. No, wait, no. I think I bought it at Bradley's. One or the other. I just know I got it cheapish. They were having a sale. Hey, VHS sale. I'm like, oh, Halloween, sweet. And I got it home. I watched it and didn't scare me. I'm not trying to be. I'm not brave. Nor am I going to go, oh, it's so slow and boring. No, no, no. First one is amazing, and I love Part 1. As I'm sure most horror fans will say and do. And I do. I love that movie. It's one of the few horror movies where I like every single character that I'm supposed to like. And the only thing that scared me though is there's a sequence where it's near the end, as Myers after how was it? It's before Myers. It's before Myers chokes out wow. I always blank on her name. PJ Souls' character. I know everyone's, oh my god, I know Linda, but I can never remember the other name. No, Linda. Here she's Linda. You got Annie and Linda. But it's just right, and the phone rings, and on the screen. But when the phone rang on TV, I had a phone downstairs. Like we had a phone downstairs where I was living, and as the phone rang on the TV, my phone rang. I jumped like 1.5 feet off the couch. Answered the phone. It was my mom, and she was at the man who would become my stepfather's apartment. So she had no idea what I was watching, but it was perfect timing. But other than that, I love that movie. I really do. I love everything about it. I would say it's nearly. I mean, it is. It's nearly perfect for me. And I say nearly because no movie's perfect. That movie's damn close though. Love everything about it. So, AAA plus in that one. Then I saw H2O, not in theaters, unfortunately. I wasn't able to get anyone to go with me when it was out. And H2O is my favorite one. And I know people are saying, oh, but it's the Scream version or it's the Dawson's Creek Halloween. To me, I don't see either one of those. The only downside of this movie is the mask. Sucks. The masks. Anyways, there's like, 7 of them, whatever. I know there's 3, whatever, but there's 3, like 2 or 3 physical ones and 1 cartoon. And it works in the I will say the mask works in the beginnings. They use the mask from 6. Why they just keep that going, I don't know. And so I know this is the first of the new timeline, although I don't think it should have been, because she faked her death. They could have just linked the whole thing, because it basically says she faked her death in a car crash. Whereas in Part 4 we find out Laurie Strode died in a car accident. So you really could have, and you can sort of in your head if you really want to go that route. But I can see why they didn't, because if they did, then it makes Laurie Strode look like a complete dick. Because she faked her own death out of fear and left her child to die. But it was exciting to get Jamie Lee Curtis back and get a whole new cast of people. And again, I like this entire cast. I like Josh Hartnett in this movie. Love Michelle Williams, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe. Even the dude whose name I can't remember. But Cool J, who I thought was really good in this movie. It's just and actually the guy who played Michael Myers. I couldn't tell you who he is, but I enjoyed him. Like, there's stuff in this movie that I know people hate, but I love when Jamie's walking down the hallway with the axe, and then Myers just lowers himself from a pipe or whatever, and he just drops behind her. I love that. My favorite part in the entire movie has nothing to do with any kill, anything. It's just Jamie. Jamie. Yeah, Laurie Strode's had enough. She makes sure her son and his girlfriend are safe. She locks the gate to the school, breaks it with a rock, and walks up, breaks a fire axe out of the break ice emergency thing, opens the gate, walks up, and she just goes, "My God!" And the music kicks in. I just got goosebumps now. Think about that in my head. That's my favorite scene in the entire movie. Because you're just like, oh, you're getting ready for war. And the ending where Myers is pinned up against a tree with an ambulance and is reaching for her, and then and looks like, oh, he wants to make up, and then Laurie Strode says nope and decapitates him. Perfect. And they should have stayed that way. That was perfect for me. Like everything about that movie, I love it. And it's not self-aware to me, so it's not Scream. There's no tongue-in-cheek crapola. And to me, it made sense with, in a way, with PTSD with Laurie Strode. Fucking perfect. And so I was like, yeah, so I was really excited to see Resurrection. Oh, that was the second Halloween movie I saw in theaters. Oh my God, that movie's terrible. Everything about it, like, except for the idea of basically the idea of like a reality show in Michael Myers' home, and Myers just coming in, just killing them, and people not thinking it's real. That has some interesting bones to it, but it's never really fully explored, in my opinion. But that's the least of the movie's problems. My God, that movie's terrible. Like, the best parts at the beginning were you get the final confrontation between Myers and Laurie Strode. But the explanation on how Myers is still alive. So I remember when they announced it, like, oh, we're doing a sequel. And I turned into Whoopi Goldberg from a movie called Soap Dish. Where her producer, I think it's producer, Rob Downey Jr. is saying where they were bringing back a character who, during one part of this show, the soap opera that they're writing for, it's like, oh, we're bringing back this actor who played this character who got decapitated somehow. And Whoopi Goldberg's response is, he doesn't have a head. How is he coming back? He doesn't have a head. And that was my thought when they announced Resurrection. I was like, he doesn't have a head. What's he going to do? Grow back? I know he's a supernatural force in theory, but I don't think he's coming back I don't think Jason comes back if he cut his damn head off. But that's a lie. He did get blown up and he came back, so never mind. But I'm like, oh, during a sequence, somehow he crushed some dude's windpipe and then changed costumes with him. Like, clothes, mask, the entire thing, and then he walked off as a paramedic, and the person that I keep saying Jamie Lloyd, that Laurie Strode decapitated wasn't Myers, and she went crazy nutso. And I'm sitting there going, when the hell do you have time to do this? When the hell, what is he, fucking The Flash? When the hell do you have time to go, oh, and also, if the person who wasn't Myers was pinned between a tree and an ambulance that fell into him, rolling at like at least 80 miles per hour, and then boom, how is he not dead? Like, Myers will excuse because he's Michael fucking Myers. Fine. How is random Joe Schmo like, oh, I'm good. Oh, take the mask off. And not only that, yeah, I guess he couldn't talk. At no point does he go, did he break his arms too? So it doesn't work. It does not work. It's stupid. And Jamie Lee Curtis came back, I guess because she had a house payment. Or she's like, no, listen, I'm going to die, and we're going to have to... She pulled a Harrison Ford and Han Solo. So listen, just kill me off. I don't have to deal with this crap anymore. So kill her off in a crap way, but whatever. Still the best part of the movie. Because then you keep going, and then yeah, the kills are somewhat okay. The effects, eh. And then you got Busta Rhymes coming in and beating the crap out of Michael Myers, and I'm like, this is terrible. The movie is so bad they had to restart. They had to do a remake and bring in Rob Zombie. Here comes my opinion of Rob Zombie's Halloween. seriously, when it comes to Rob Zombie's Halloween, I'd rather watch Fly as fuck. Okay? I'd rather suck the shit out of a dead nun's ass. I would rather watch C-SPAN. Simone, my drift here. I'd rather watch High Guardian Spice. It could be a bit of a obscure reference, but someone's going to catch it and go, ha ha! So yeah. No, that's my opinion. I'm not going to even go over it, except for this: Rob Zombie is unable to make movies with likable characters. Ever. This movie's no exception. In that movie, when there's only 3 likable characters: Annie's dad, Michael Myers. If Michael Myers is one of the only 3 likable characters, and by the way, Michael Myers, once he put the mask on, when he's a short, fat, blonde kid, no. But when he's a serial killer we all know and love, sort of, yes. Although in that movie he's basically Jason Voorhees cosplaying as Michael Myers. But whatever. His movie's crap. The whole thing is crap. And Rob Zombie should be thrown screaming from a helicopter for slapping the name Halloween to that cinematic abortion. Now we get to his Halloween 2, which I actually like more. Now, before you get the pitchforks, let me explain why. Because at least that Halloween 2 is his. He's not remaking anything. It's his movie. The movie still sucks, but it's his. And for some reason, I don't know if he owes his wife money, or if she uses her what she makes in the movie to buy, purses, shoes, crystal meth. I don't know, by the way. I don't think she does crystal meth, but something. I don't know, but he has to put her in every single movie he does. And in Halloween 2, he was like, well, I killed you in the first one, so how do we bring you back? Oh, there's a white horse. What? And this movie, unlike Halloween 6, where I think the theatrical cut's better than the producer's cut, and for H2, I believe the director's cut's better than the theatrical cut. For me. Although a theatrical cut, I still remember the ending where I'm like, okay. So at one point you're just like, okay, is Myers real? Because you see at one point, I'm pretty sure it felt like people who weren't Laurie Strode were seeing was it a Sherry Moon Zombie and little tiny fat blonde Michael Myers. And I'm like, how crazy is she? But luckily enough, that movie made no money, and then the franchise was dead for a bit until 2018. Now 2018, I freaking love that movie. I love everything about it. They turned Laurie Strode into a bad mofo. I mean, yeah, she's kind of a doomsday prepper, but badass. Again, I like most of the cast. I don't like her daughter Nancy. I just don't like her. I liked Allison, I liked the granddaughter, but I didn't like Nancy. Didn't like Nancy's husband a whole lot either, so maybe I don't like the entire cast, but I liked enough of them. Those are I'm supposed to like. I hate the fact that the one dude basically gets killed because he didn't know he was friend zoned by Allison, and then he gets killed for that. I'm like, it sucks. But all in all, I think it's a great movie. I really do. It made Myers scary again, because he's this really interesting combination of the Myers from Part 1 and kind of Tyler Mane's Michael Myers from the remakes, because he's slow, he's methodical, he moves at the same kind of fluid pace that Nick Castle had in Part 1, but he's vicious and he's angry. Like he seems to love bouncing people's heads off of crap and stuff. Like he seems angrier, so he has that sudden fury that Tyler Mane's one did. But I really enjoyed the piss out of that. And honestly, I enjoy the most divisive Halloween movie I think ever made, would be Halloween Kills. Apparently, that's in my head. That's more divisive than the goddamn remakes. But I love Halloween Kills. I mean, yes, the sequence where the angry mob is chasing Danny DeVito's Penguin from Batman Returns goes way too long. And at one point I'm like, no, no, no. Tommy Jarvis would know that's not Michael Myers. He would have to. And but other than that, I love that movie. I love the fact that, again, that they lean into Myers being a supernatural being. Love that. Uh, liked all the victims, which is random. Which is not random, but it's really rare for me in a slash movie. But I loved it. So there's my history of the Halloween franchise. Um, it went a bit long, as I said before. So for that, I'm sorry. But as I said, we're going to be a horror channel, mostly a horror channel now. Begging your pardon. So until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side. Same last time, same last channel.